Okay. In the last couple of videos, we talked about line and shape, and all of those things are two-dimensional, which means they're flat. They don't have any three-dimensional qualities to them. Today, we're going to be talking about how to turn those two-dimensional elements into something that is three-dimensional. So we talked about in the first lesson lines. So we talked about vertical and we talked about horizontal. So if we take those concepts and we think about the horizontal and the vertical. Now another line we talked about was the diagonal. Now the diagonal is going to help us understand the next step in the evolution of going from 2D to 3D. Now what the diagonal does is it crosses the horizontal and the vertical, and it goes into the three-dimensional space. It starts to it's like the idea of breaking the fourth wall, like almost like pointing this pencil at you. It's like breaking that, me and the screen, it's coming at you. So this diagonal begins the conversation of going into 3D. Now, why is this the case? Well, what happens is when something is three-dimensional, or another word for it is perspective, which we'll be talking about that as well. The key concept to simplify it is things get bigger as they come at you and they get smaller as they go away from you. So this diagonal line, it's bigger as it's coming towards us right in this section, and then as it goes away, it's smaller. So if we just take these line segments from this point to the center point to this point, this section is bigger than this section behind it. So just by understanding that things are going to get larger as they're coming at us and they're going to get smaller as they go away, that right there tells us a lot. So we can use them concepts. So if I just take a horizontal line, and again, like, this is pretty simple, right? Everybody can, draw somewhat of a straight horizontal line, I would think. It's gonna, muscle memory, you might need to, but just think of it as if you're, just putting a horizontal on the letter H, just think of it like that, how fluid that is, because you've written that letter and you've, dotted the across the, so that's all we're doing there, is just doing a horizontal. And then if we put another horizontal and we kind of make it a bit smaller, we then get this idea that this segment again is bigger and this segment is smaller. So again, we're getting this idea of this coming at us. Now another thing we can do to improve this or make it even more dimensional, we can add two diagonals, two ascending diagonals on each side. Now we have what we can call is a plane, which is not like the planes in the sky, but more of a flat sheet, like think of it like a sheet of paper. I wish I had something here. So a plane is basically, a flat sheet, of just a surface, a flat surface that's going into space. So when I put this piece of paper, this end that my pencil is on the back is smaller than this end is up front. So that's what we've created here. And now we can go a little bit into perspective. I'm probably gonna have to break this into like probably a good like 2 or 3 videos most likely. But I'm just trying to give you like real bare essentials, and then we can go deeper into what this all kind of means. So we kind of bring that to a point, and then you kind of almost have this triangle shape. But then we put a point here. That point, what in perspective is called a vanishing point. Now, the name is pretty pretty descriptive on what it actually is. It's just saying that it's vanity. It's where things are converging into space. They're getting smaller and smaller and less visible to the eye. So they're going away from us, which is why this part of the sheet of paper or the plane is getting smaller, and then this is getting larger. Now, I'm going to throw in some terms in this perspective, which is going to tell us more about the 3-dimensional space and how to understand it. So there's a thing we call in perspective the picture plane. The picture plane is like a sheet of again, it's a plane, so it's a flat surface, but it's a flat transparent surface. So if you take like this is just like a sheet of glass out of like a picture frame, that's kind of what a picture plane is. So if I'm to say put this picture frame in front of my face and I'm looking around my room, I should be able, it's almost like you could draw whatever was in front of you, and that would be the picture frame. Like, that's the idea. It's a plane of glass that's like, it's see-through, that the artist is looking through and then is drawing what he's seeing through that plane of glass. It seems a little confusing right now, but I'm gonna keep going. So we just have this picture plane, right? And it's our sheet of glass that we're looking through the world, kind of. So I'm gonna do a diagonal and then another set of diagonals, and I'm gonna do another one of these planes. Now this plane would be so this would be going in perspective, which I think in the next video I'm gonna get more and more into it. So you just gotta sort of be patient. It takes a bit of time to kind of understand these concepts. I still have to refresh after a while of not studying this stuff. So here's our plane of glass, basically, which is obviously when we're like walking around the world or when we're sitting down to draw, there's not actually a plane of glass there, but it's a concept to understand and to break down this idea of perspective. So now I'm gonna sort of draw a stick figure, kind of, or just like a blob of just a representation of a figure here, just to further the point, so we can get on feet. It's just like a silhouetted figure. then the head and shoulders. Now this figure is standing just like me, and he's looking through this sheet of glass. Now on the other side there might be, say, like a cube. And now he sees that. And then when he draws on this plane of glass, like, what he's going to be drawing is this. First it's going to be like this, and then he's probably seeing the top of this plane. And so that's kind of that's kind of what's going on. It's like a whole different way of seeing the world. Like, you're really seeing it in a different way. So that's basically what perspective is. And so this person's standing here. There's also a thing called the horizontal line, which it could be called the horizontal line or the eye level line. That's just basically the height of where you are relative to what you're looking at. So this right here, this figure's looking at this box, right? And he's looking down at it. So when he draws it, he's going to be drawing the top of this box. He's going to see the front face of the box. And then he'll probably see a little bit of the side of the box. Now, we had drawn, basic square in the very beginning, which is a square. It's flat, But in perspective, if we looked at this again in a more three-dimensional way, if I had a box, we're going to turn that square into a box. Now, we just see this front part of it, but if I was looking at the square like this diagram is showing, I would be seeing the top. Now again, we're going to be restating what I said here. We're going to get a line segment that is bigger and then a line segment that is smaller in the back, and it's going to go to that vanishing point. And so then we're seeing the top face and we're seeing the front face. Now the front face looks like the two-dimensional shape, and then that top plane there is really showing us it's starting to have a dimension to it. And then you can even, start to scribble in a tone or a value for that front plane, which has gone away. And then this is, this part would be coming at you, and then this part would be gone away. Now, there's, that's perspective, and that's going to need more discussion on what exactly, definitely more detail on that in a later video. But for right now, I would say if you can just draw basic stuff, like just a short line segment, a big line segment, and then connect the dots. And then you can do it the other way, where you do it, you do this, and then you can do that, and then you're just connecting them. By just doing that, you're reinforcing this idea that it's getting smaller as it's going away, and it's getting larger as it's coming at us. And then, another thing to show perspective or depth is having two squares. Now this is these are two-dimensional, obviously, but then we can tone that front one in there. This, even though it's it doesn't have a thickness or anything, it's showing us that, hey, this one's bigger, this one's smaller, and this one's darker, which is, it's making it come forward more. So that's giving us an idea of dimension. You know, now you could do that with a circle. You could do a big circle, a small circle, tone that in. Now, that's giving us the same idea. Now, you can, and you could even connect these, and then that could become a box. And then you're getting into the idea of like creating in perspective, which is like seeing through things, almost like a, what do you call it, x-ray vision kind of thing. That's kind of what you know, that skill takes some time to, the eye-hand coordination, and it also just, it gets kind of busy with a lot of lines and overlapping lines and stuff. So we'll be discussing that in a further video. But I think I'm gonna cut it here, and I'm gonna like try to break it down a little bit more simpler in the next video. But I want to get something out just to start the discussion, and that, so we're gonna get a little bit more clear in the next video.